Good morning. It's Thursday, July 4th. Here's what we're working on this morning. We'll have the latest on the closure of the QEW in Beamsville.
The LCBO and its union are trying to reach an agreement before tonight's strike deadline.
And the Toronto Blue Jays were let down again by their bullpen. And good morning. It is July 4th. Happy Independence Day for any of our American viewers that may be watching. And a special shout out to my grandma, who was born in Detroit. She's cool. American, so I think that makes me what, a quarter American, 1/8 American? I don't know. So happy Independence Day, though.
Okay. And for those heading to the border, could be problems. Well, actually, Toronto-bound lanes in the QEW. We have huge traffic issues this morning.
We've had problems this morning, all kinds of problems. Thankfully, some have cleared around Cawthra have cleared. We do have nothing here. I just want to show you that particular camera. Nothing right now at the 403 and Waterdown Road. That's doing okay. If we go right to traffic this morning, the problem that we have is in the QEW in Beamsville. It's the Toronto-bound lanes of the QEW. This is a live shot that we have from the location. Sean Cowan is on the scene along with Luke and giving us some shots. We've got a complete closure of the Toronto-bound QEW at Ontario Street in Beamsville. We've had a serious collision there, and that is closed Toronto-bound lanes of the QEW. So it's going to be a big headache going through there this morning, depending on, of course, how long this closure lasts, but we'll keep you posted. Sean will have details on that coming up for you. The other big problem that we have in traffic this morning is on the Gardiner Expressway heading eastbound, collision involving a fatality, and that's as you're approaching Strawn. Everybody's forced off eastbound lanes of the Gardiner at Jameson. Otherwise, QEW west of 50, nothing to see there. Skyway Bridge at the top looks good. Appleby line starting to get a little bit busy here, starting to bunch up already. No other collisions at the moment. As far as the forecast is concerned for the day today, once again, like yesterday, we'll start off with some sun and then chance of showers and thunderstorms. Another muggy one, 29, feeling like 34 today, and we'll talk about that. We're sitting at 18 right now. We'll talk about that coming up, and of course a traffic update in a few minutes. Right now, the news.
Thanks, Brian. And as Brian just mentioned, the Toronto-bound Queen Elizabeth Way is closed in Beamsville due to a very serious accident. Sean Cowan is live on the scene with an update. Hi, Sean. What do you have?
Hey, Louis. Well, I heard from OPP this morning, and they're telling us that one person was struck on the QEW this morning. The vehicle that was involved in this collision did remain on scene. So all traffic right now is being forced off of the QEW Toronto-bound at Ontario Street right here in Beamsville, and that is causing a big backup of cars both on the North Service Road as well as the QEW. So a really big long line of traffic right now going Toronto-bound. Everybody is being forced off at Ontario Street. So a lot of people are getting off early and taking the North Service Road, as well as traffic is being forced off on North Service Road, so back up on both of those locations right now. The South Service Road, there is not a lot of traffic on the South Service Road. That is going pretty smoothly in both directions, but we did hear from OPP just a few moments ago that the QEW will be closed at least for another few hours as this investigation continues. So just to recap, one person was struck on the QEW, a pedestrian on the QEW this morning here in Beamsville. That vehicle that was involved in the collision did remain on scene. We don't have any update from the OPP at this time as to the condition of the person that was struck. Annette, I'll send it back inside to you.
Okay, thanks very much, Sean. Still on the roads, the OPP laid 18,000 charges in a safety blitz before and during the Canada Day long weekend. Here's a breakdown. So they laid over 8,400 charges for speeding, 224 for stunt driving, nearly 450 for impaired driving, and just over 170 people were charged with distracted driving. One person was also killed in a boating incident over the long weekend.
Police have arrested a suspect in the death of a Hamilton woman whose body was found along a remote road in Lincoln last month. They've charged 20-year-old Pedro Benitez Leal of Hamilton with second-degree murder. Niagara police released these pictures last month. One shows a grainy shot of a Dodge Grand Caravan. Police say 27-year-old Jessica Lynn St. Jules was last seen getting into the vehicle on Barton Street in Hamilton at about 4:30 in the morning on June 8th. Her body was found later that day along a remote road in the town of Lincoln. Another photo from the police shows a man driving the minivan.
Last week, we received some information from the Hamilton police who were approached by a resident of Hamilton who had some information to provide with respect to the vehicle which they believed that they had seen in the area. We do know that she entered the vehicle in the early morning hours of June the 8th. She did so voluntarily, and then a few hours later it is believed that she was located and discovered in the Niagara area. What happened in the intervening period of time is still subject to ongoing investigation.
Now, police tracked down the owner of the vehicle and arrested 20-year-old Pedro Benitez Leal of Hamilton. They say he has no connection to Lincoln, where Jessica's body was found, and they're continuing their investigation into how Jessica died. The suspect is being held in custody until a court appearance next week.
A 26-year-old man from Welland has been missing now for more than a month. Niagara police say Dylan DeVries was last seen in May in the Welland area, and they believe he may be in Hamilton. He's 5'6" with a slim build, short brown hair and brown eyes. Police and Dylan's guardians are concerned for his well-being. The union representing LCBO workers is getting ready for a possible strike tomorrow. Members of the Ontario Public Service Employees Union, OPSU, have set up their regional strike headquarters for Halton and Hamilton. Negotiations are set to continue today between the Crown Corporation and the union. This says picket signs are being prepared.
There's certain things that we are trying to work with them on, and that is expansion and the availability, as Mr. Ford likes to call it. He wants it available to everyone, and we don't have a problem with that. We just want to be part of that availability.
Now, the Ford government's plans to expand liquor sales to more grocery and convenience stores is a big issue here, as the union is advocating for strong job security in the new collective agreement. The LCBO has said it will temporarily shut down all of its stores for 14 days if there is a strike tomorrow. Alcohol would still be available from the LCBO online and at grocery stores, LCBO-partnered community stores, the beer store, and other private retailers. This is going to be the second day of closures on the bridge that connects one side of Caledonia with the other. The Argyle Street Bridge is going to be shut down to vehicle traffic in both directions from 8 until 6 today and again tomorrow. Pedestrians will be able to cross on the west side of the bridge, though. The closure is for routine inspections by Ontario's Ministry of Transportation. Drivers are being asked to use the Highway 6 bypass. Although you can't tell from the outside, a lot of work is being done inside the former First Ontario Centre in Hamilton. What started with a symbolic wall demolition a few weeks ago is now a full-scale demo inside the downtown Hamilton Arena. The group overseeing the Hamilton Arena project shared this video on LinkedIn of the progress so far. So more than 60% of the seats have been removed, the food concessions have been taken apart, and all suites have been removed.
All right, Sportsline time, and let's start with the Toronto Blue Jays, who were looking all right against the Astros until they weren't.
Instead, it's going to be a base hit into right. One run is home. Here comes Altuve. Barger's throw is way offline. 2 runs will score. Alvarez comes to third, and it's 5-2 Astros.
Houston would score 7 unanswered runs from the 7th inning on, while the Blue Jays were held to just 5 hits on the night as the Astros beat Toronto 9-2 in MLB action last night. Toronto now finds themselves 16 games back of the Orioles for first in the AL East, 8 games back of the final wildcard spot in the American League. The Jays wrap up their 4-game series this afternoon when they send Chris Bassett to the mound. First pitch, 107. There was some good news for the Blue Jays yesterday as Vladimir Guerrero Jr. has been voted as the starting first baseman for the American League at the All-Star game. Now, it's the 4th All-Star nod for the Blue Jays slugger who beat out the Orioles' Ryan Mountcastle for the honor. 25-year-old is hitting .298 with 13 home runs and 50 RBI in 84 games this season. A Montreal-born Dominican will join Jose Bautista, Roberto Alomar, and Joe Carter as the only players in franchise history to have started 3 All-Star games. The Texas Rangers and Globe Life Park will host the All-Star game on July 16th. All right, there's some good news. How about some bad news? As the Blue Jays have announced closer Jordan Romano underwent surgery on his right elbow to repair an impingement. Now, according to MLB.com Blue Jays reporter Keegan Matheson, the 31-year-old will be shut down from throwing for at least 6 weeks, and it's to be determined whether he can return this season. The Markham native has appeared in just 15 games this year, posting a .629 ERA with 8 saves.
But it is game, set and match, and also checkmate. Takes it on her second match point. Bianca Andreescu back in the 3rd round at the Wimbledon Championships.
And another grass court win for Bianca Andreescu. The Canadian tennis star advanced to the 3rd round of Wimbledon with a straight sets win over 26th seed Linda Noskova of Czechia. Now Andreescu, who's back in action after a lengthy injury layoff, is 6-2 on grass this season. She'll face 7th seed Jasmine Paolini of Italy. Meanwhile, Leylah Fernandez looks to book her spot in the 3rd round later this morning. While on the men's side, Denis Shapovalov also in action this morning. And some history made in the NHL yesterday as the Seattle Kraken announced they've hired Jessica Campbell as an assistant coach, making her the first woman in league history to be behind the bench on a full-time basis. The 32-year-old was also the first woman to serve as a full-time assistant with Seattle's AHL affiliate in Coachella Valley. The Rockinville, Saskatchewan native played 4 seasons at Cornell University, professionally in the old Canadian Women's Hockey League, the Swedish Women's Hockey League, and skated for Canada with the under-15 team to the senior women's squad from 2008 to 2017.
Hey, it's 12 minutes after 6 o'clock on this 4th morning of July. We do have some sunshine. We have a very hazy, very misty atmosphere this morning, and fog patches as well, so be really careful. The temperature is sitting right in the dew point, which means the air is absolutely saturated. We'll start with this camera. This is the 403 and Waterdown Road. Nothing there, all doing fine around the Hamilton area. The big problem that we have here in this area is in Niagara. It's actually in Beamsville. So it's the Toronto-bound lanes of the QEW, complete closure at Ontario Street in Beamsville because of a serious accident that happened throughout the overnight hours. Looks like Sean Cowan is on the scene, and of course this is our drone shot, live shot from the scene. You can see everybody's forced off onto Ontario Street here at Beamsville. So this, they say, is going to be another few hours, so this is going to be a headache trying to get out of St. Catharines and go through the Beamsville area. So that's one problem. The other problem is on the Gardner Expressway that we have. Eastbound lanes, the Gardner Expressway, complete closure at Jameson because of a serious collision there. Otherwise, nothing to see as we flip through some. A little bit busy at Fairview, nothing east of Royal Windsor, all the way through Cawthra. Okay. Temperature this morning, as I mentioned, we're sitting right on the dew point. That means the air is saturated. 100% humidity, temperature 18, light winds, perfect combination of fog patches, and that's what we have here this morning. The sun is up, so no problems there. A weak cold front is going to try to push its way across us today. That could trigger off, once again, a chance of a shower or a thunderstorm. We had that chance yesterday. Yesterday we got to 28. Today we should hit 29 with a humidex of 34 for the day. We had a humidex of 37 yesterday. It was a sticky day. And again, more instability possible as we get into Saturday. So today, 27 for the Falls, but everybody else 29 degrees today. So another warm one. As I said, humidex about 34, instability this afternoon that could linger into the evening, but overnight skies will clear. It'll stay mild. Temperatures anywhere from 16 to 20 degrees tonight. Tomorrow, we're looking at a temperature a little less, 25 and 26 for Niagara, 27 degrees tomorrow. Humidex value, the low 30s tomorrow, so a little bit more comfortable, but not as much sunshine in the morning with chance of a shower or a thunderstorm later in the day once again. So there's that pattern continuing. So out the door this morning, we do have some fog patches, light winds, temperature right now 18. And we'll check long range coming up. Annette, Louis.
Okay, thank you.
All right, let's say good morning to Emily Vukovic. What do you got coming up on Chit Chat this morning, Emily?
Hi, good morning. A member of BTS is been added to the long list of torchbearers for the Olympic flame.
Oh.
We are talking about Pink and how she is canceling some concerts due to health concerns, and a German city has renamed themselves after Taylor Swift.
Taylor Swift, you can't get away from her.
I literally cannot get away from her every single day of my life.
If you had $1 for every time you had a Taylor Swift mention on Chit Chat, you could probably retire, actually.
I'd be so rich.
Yeah.
I'd be so rich.
Or go on a nice vacation.
Yeah, around the world.
All right, thanks, Emily. All right, there are reports that Hudson's Bay Company has reached a deal to buy a high-end American retailer. 6:17, taking a look at business. The Canadian dollar gained 8 basis points. It's trading at this morning at 73.41 cents U.S. Gold lost just over $3. Crude is down 60 cents. It's trading at $83.28 U.S. a barrel. In midday European trading, markets are up in London, Frankfurt, and Paris.
In Asia, the markets were up today in Tokyo and Hong Kong, down a bit in Shanghai. North American markets, the TSX surged 269 points on a half day of trading in New York. The Dow lost 23 and the NASDAQ gained 159. U.S. markets will be closed all day today for July 4th.
A huge cross-border department store deal has reportedly been struck. Several sources say Toronto-based HBC is going to buy U.S. luxury department store chain Neiman Marcus with a little help from Amazon. The Wall Street Journal and New York Times say the deal is worth $2.65 billion U.S. Now, Amazon would reportedly take a minority stake in the combined company. Neiman Marcus went bankrupt in 2020 after closing stores during the pandemic. HBC already owns Saks Fifth Avenue and Saks off Fifth.
Well, some Canadians will be getting a deposit from the federal government starting tomorrow. The first of 4 non-taxable payments from the GST-HST credit will appear in bank accounts starting July 5th. It's for individuals and families with low to modest incomes to help offset the sales taxes that they pay. CRA says this year's round of payments were calculated using 2023 tax returns. They'll arrive in July, October, January, and April of next year. To get the payments, you must have filed a tax return even if you didn't get any income last year.
Canada's merchandise trade deficit widened to $1.9 billion in May as exports fell to their lowest level since last July. Statistics Canada reports exports dropped 2.6%, while imports fell 1.6% in May. Country's trade surplus with the U.S. totaled $8.2 billion in May, compared with $7.1 billion in April. Canada's trade deficit with other countries was $10.1 billion in May. That's up nearly $2 billion from April.
A new report from RBC shows that rental housing development is needed in Canada despite a recent rise in construction. The report says rental housing starts recently reached their highest levels in decades, with more than 80,000 new units started in 2022 and last year. That number is set to rise even higher this year as rental housing grows in popularity and home ownership becomes less affordable. RBC also notes an imbalance in rental housing supply and demand has caused rents to soar, with the annual rent growth last year outpacing inflation and wage growth.
All right, we're going to take a quick break right now. Brian will be back with your traffic and your 7-day forecast. Stay with us.
624, good morning. Look at the sunshine. That's the one nice thing this morning. The other is the problems on the QEW. QEW at Ontario Street, Beamsville. Live shot from our drone that's on the scene with Sean and Luke. As you can see, everybody forced off east or Toronto-bound lanes with the QEW at Ontario Street because of a serious accident that we had there earlier throughout the overnight hours. OPP now saying maybe 8:30 that'll be open, but it's going to be a headache all the way through the morning. Here, keep that in mind. Find an alternate. Also, the complete closure of the Gardner Expressway at Jameson from a serious collision going eastbound. Nothing to see on our MTO traffic cameras east of Appleby all the way through Erin Mills Parkway, 403 west of Mississauga. And to add another problem, if you're traveling further afield through Bowmanville, complete closure of the eastbound 401 through Bowmanville because of a serious collision there. So many problems this morning. All right, to our temperature. Temperature in Hamilton, at least we have the sunshine. Well, it's hazy sunshine right now because of the humidity. 18 degrees Hamilton, 19 Grimsby, Toronto, 20 degrees for Mississauga. Seasonals, we'll check those. 26 for the daytime high, 15 for the overnight low. Those are our sun times and records for today. Watching Hurricane Beryl, of course, as it moves its way through the Caribbean to the Yucatan Peninsula, and then heading off. It's weakening, but still a very strong hurricane heading toward the Cayman Islands at the moment. So our long-range forecast today, 29 degrees, feeling like 34. Instability once again this afternoon. Showers, thunderstorms possible. 17 tonight. Skies will start to clear. Tomorrow, a little bit of sun, but otherwise, again, chance of showers and thunderstorms. 27, feeling like 32. Again, chance of a shower on Saturday, but a sun, 26. And then we level off at 27 for Sunday, Monday, and some showers for Tuesday. That's your forecast. Annette, Louie.
Thanks, Brian. Competitors for today's Nathan's Famous Hot Dog Eating Contest have weighed in.
15 men and 14 women are going to compete in the 4th of July tradition. The winner takes home $20,000 US and that coveted yellow mustard belt. And there are competitors from around the world, including Darian Thomas from Barrie. He started competitive eating at 16 when he stepped in at an event. For that, he picked up $3,000 for eating 3.5 pizzas.
Notably absent is in this year's hot dog eating contest is 16-time champion Joey Chestnut. He was banned from the competition because he's representing a rival brand that sells plant-based hot dogs.
Okay, there you go, kid. There's your challenge. If you're watching this while you're eating breakfast, try and eat breakfast as fast as you can. Mom and Dad, you're welcome.
Yeah, and if it's hot dogs for breakfast, then good for you.
Yeah.
Stay with us. More to come after the break.